We're gonna give you the 5 best strength exercises that you can use to become a better rugby player. And we're gonna start right now. All right, so when we're looking at rugby, we know we have to be extremely strong. We have to be extremely explosive. We've got to do a lot of speed work. We got to do a lot of agility work. There's a lot of transient speed, crazy chaos coordination. All of that stuff is what's happening out on the pitch. And we've got to train that specifically. We also need to be doing plyometric work. We also need to be doing technical coordination movements. But for this video, we're just going over absolute strength exercises that will transfer. So all of these movements we're going to give you will provide a baseline that's going to help you become more developed, help you become more coordinated, help you improve your technical coordination and your overall speed. So bear that in mind while we're looking through this training lens. That first exercise, I'm going to challenge all you rugby players out there. A lot of you don't want to do it, but it's one of the best movements that's going to connect with your overall dynamic trunk control. It's one of the best exercises that's going to help with your leg strength. It's also a movement that's going to help you hit a little bit harder, and that's going to be a pause front squat. So if I get into position here, okay, ideally I would have a clean rack, but I'm holding my mic. I'm going to go down under control, get set, up fast, okay? I want to get even an auditory cue if I want. Down, up fast. One more here. Down, good mobility, up fast. Okay, we want to focus on good speed of movement and pushing this consistently. Okay, if we improve our front squat, we're gonna be able to clean a little bit more. If we improve our front squat, we're gonna back squat more. And this is gonna lead to better performance out on the field. Do this 4 sets of 5, 5 sets of 3, throughout the year, throughout all phases of parabolic periodization, if you wanna become a better rugby player. So one of the aspects that I learned when I was at the Olympics is watching some of the best rugby teams in the entire world warm up and train is that during sevens, they're gonna focus a lot more on speed work, okay? And they're a little tentative to lift heavy weight. And I know that there's a point of doing speed work, doing functional work, of using hydro weights and things like that. I know there's a point to doing that. But there's also a really, really good basis of strength that can be developed from absolute strength movements. And that's where I will give a little bit of a call out to some rugby players. Like, we could just get you a little bit stronger first and then backdoor you with the reflexive movements and with those plyometric movements. And that, if you can increase your overall muscle mass from the absolute strength movements, will help you be more powerful with the reflexive movements. So I just wanted to throw that in there. I'm gonna give you the next upper body movement. So the next exercise we're gonna focus on is going to be a dumbbell bench. Now, the way I want this to be done is with a double bounce, come up, okay? Semi-neutral, come up, okay? Double bounce, come up. I believe that every single rugby player in the entire world should be able to hold dumbbells here and press them without actually needing assistance, okay? So if we're here, boom, give it a little double bounce, up, one more, up. Now, if we're a bigger player, I think you should all be using about 50 plus kilos in each hand. Okay, I like to take a little bit out of that American football book and look at if I can increase my upper body strength, if I can increase my ability to push, and I have a stronger pec, and I have a stronger deltoid and tricep, that's gonna lead to better performance. So do 5 sets of 7, 5 sets of 5. Increase your dumbbell bench strength over a long period of time, and that's gonna help improve your overall performance. Now, this third key exercise is probably my favorite absolute strength movement that transfers over to the sports performance world. First, you've got to think about if we can increase our unilateral strength, if we can target our posterior chain, our hamstrings, our glutes, even our lower back, if we can have that trunk control, more stability in that precarious position, and we can start to load this, get it a little bit heavier, and even do things like unbroken reps, that's gonna help with our ability to accelerate and decelerate. And that's where the single leg squat comes into play. This is the best leg lift if we're going to increase absolute strength for sports performance bar none. And we're gonna use our Garage Strength single leg roller and pad. Both of these are available at garagestrength.com. So if you don't have access to a roller like this, if you have to use a bench and put a towel down, that's fine. But I would recommend picking this up today because it's absolutely phenomenal. It helps you get a little bit heavier and it's a lot more comfortable. Okay, and this pad is specially formulated. It's a little bit harder foam, so it's a little bit easier on your knee when you're actually touching it, and you're not gonna slide all over the place like you might with a softer foam. So when we get into position, okay? Oh, I did these yesterday. I go here. I'm doing a triple unbroken. I'm going here. Okay, so I want to get 3 fast. All right, I can already feel that in my glutes. Here, now this is my weak leg. I should have done this side first. I'm gonna get set. Focus on your trunk control. Focus on that good position off the bounce. There we go. Now, one of the interesting things is that when you progress through a couple sets, let's say you do 5 sets of 3 on each leg, or if we're doing 6 doubles even, and we want to push this a little bit heavier. As you get to like set 3, set 4, set 5, your body wakes up, your nervous system gets a little bit smarter, and that neural intelligence comes into firing, and it's gonna make it easier to recruit those high threshold motor units. When we can train those in that unilateral position, it's gonna lead to better performance, and it's gonna help you run faster out on the pitch. Now, some of the big dogs out on the rugby field are gonna be crying that they can't do this next exercise. So I will give you an alternative. And that's one thing that we do inside of Peak Strength, is that we program so that if you don't have access to specific equipment inside of your program, you're able to select an alternative exercise. Peak Strength is our app where we actually periodize everything based off of specific sports and sport strength characteristics. Okay, so we identified everything that you would need as a rugby player. So you can head over to peakstrength.app, the Apple iOS store, or the Google Play Store, and pick that up today for 5 free workouts. Now, the next movement is going to be a close grip pull-up. One of the big factors here is that if we can increase our upper body strength with pressing, and we can also increase our lat strength, our rhomboid strength, our bicep strength, that's gonna lead to healthier shoulders. That's gonna lead to greater joint stability. And where I'm gonna show you, and so how we wanna execute this is actually thinking about pulling our hands to our sternum, okay? So I'm gonna get set here, a little bit closer together. Come up, okay? Down. Down. One more. Now, if you're a bigger dude and you can't do pull-ups, start doing more pull-ups. But if you're struggling with them, we can do a bent over row. Okay, so we're gonna get here. We're gonna come up, under control, up, under control. I don't wanna see this. Okay, that's gonna bring in more of the hamstrings in the lower back. We wanna see good control here, good lat stimulation, good rhomboid stimulation. Use both of these exercises, 3 sets of 5, 2 sets of 9. I even like to get my pull-ups where we have at least 1 set to failure to increase that muscular endurance. Now, if you're inside of Peak Strength, you probably know already that I love Nordic curls, okay? And a lot of people might say, absolute strength movement is Nordic curls, really? And I'm gonna make a quick argument here. When I'm training someone specific for speed, I want to hammer their hamstrings in multiple different ways with multiple different foot positions. I wanna target the biceps femoris, but also I wanna target that semitendinosus, semimembranosus, okay? We wanna make sure that the strength in our hamstring is sort of equal out, especially with those 2 main muscles, because that's gonna prevent any hamstring issues. Also, if we have someone who's shorter limbed, they have shorter legs, typically they're gonna be more quad dominant. So we really, really wanna develop their hamstring strength. And that's where if we do a technical coordination lift on an impulse day, okay, and then we follow that up with the absolute strength movement being a Nordic pull with some type of jump, maybe we do some type of contrast training. Now, what we're gonna be using is specific hamstring exercises, okay, that is gonna lead to hip extension, and then we're pairing that with some type of plyometric. So now that short-limbed individual is gonna learn how to be more explosive with their hamstrings, even while they're quad dominant. I'm gonna show you a little trick that I like to use here, okay? So if I'm just like trying to warm up here, I might do some hip extensions and squeeze my glutes forward, okay? Here, forward. Again, this is an exercise that's absolutely phenomenal for speed. Here, okay, so I'm warming up, nice and easy, okay? Now, the next thing I want to do is maybe a little assisted. So this is even a progression that you could use. A little assisted, boom, come back up, okay? Down, come back up. And so as we get stronger, I had a little bit of a hip flexion bend there. I want to focus on hip extension a little more off my chest. As we get stronger, we want to do a slower eccentric, work through that full range. Okay, touch our chest and drive back up quickly. I'll demonstrate that shortly. Ideally, you get to the point where you could hold a plate on that slow eccentric, drop the plate, and then do a couple by yourself. So here would be a good example. Hopefully I can execute this perfectly. I'm gonna come down and try and extend at the top. Down. I like to do sets of 4 to 7. Keep the rep range a little bit lower because your hamstrings respond really, really well to higher intensity. Now, if I have somebody who's got really, really weak hamstrings and they're starting to cramp in their calf, I might finish them off by doing beaker hamstrings. Like those beakers in chemistry, you're going down like this.
It's drinking the water!
Come back and forth. So we can go here, and we wanna have those toes up, dorsiflex, boom. Boom, boom. And we want to think hips through at the top and then slowly build back into that full range of motion Nordic curl. So you can do this again, 4 or 5 sets of 5, 7 reps, slow eccentric. That's going to help increase your speed and your hamstring strength so you can stay out on the pitch longer and you can run a lot faster. If you guys need help with your programming, head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store, the Apple iOS Store. You can pick up 5 free days of training. The worst thing that's gonna happen is that you're gonna get 5 days of training for free. So start your journey to attain peak strength today, because remember, freaks, if you guys wanna become a champion, you've always gotta cultivate your power. Peace.